Come on in and have a seat. How do you both like your coffee?
1 pack of Splenda and 1 vanilla creamer, please.
Charlene, what about you?
Just sugar, please.
All right. Splenda and creamer and sugar it is. I'll get that started PDQ.
What happened to Jerry and Emma?
It looks like we left them in our dust back in the hallway. They'll be along shortly. Would either of you care for a donut?
Sure, I'd love one.
No, you don't have to ask me twice.
Well, alrighty then. 2 coffee and donuts coming right up.
So, Professor Daltin, how long have you been at this?
Oh, I've been making coffee and eating donuts ever since I was a kid. It's amazing the changes they've gone through over the years. Why, coffee used to be so simple back in the day. Nowadays, they have so many flavors you need a menu just to keep track of them all.
No, I was talking about Bigfoot research. How long have you been doing it?
Oh, that! Well, I've been doing research in one form or fashion ever since I was about 12 or 13 years old. But as far as professionally, I'd say about 40 years now. What about you two?
10 years.
Well, that's a fair amount of experience for sure. Ross, here's your coffee.
Thank you.
And Charlene, here's yours.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Hey, everybody. Sorry we're late. Emma had a bit of an issue to take care of.
That's all right. We haven't started anything yet. So, Charlene, you were talking about seeing a Bigfoot going in and out of cloaking. Would you care to share that encounter with us? I'd love to hear about it.
Sure. It all happened about 10 years ago. We were living in the same house that we live in now. It's smack in the middle of a subdivision. We had been having encounters for months now, and I had started sitting in the backyard every night just to spend time with the Bigfoot and get to know him, and I would just tell them about my day. And I was sitting here this one night telling them about my day, and I would get thoughts back immediately, and I knew they weren't coming from me because it would be something that I would never have thought of, and it was always a solution to my problem that I was having, that I was talking to them about. They always gave me a solution right away. So I knew it was telepathic thoughts coming from them because I wouldn't have thought of that. And it was always something good, and it was always something kind. So I was sitting on the trail this night behind the deck in the house in the pitch dark. I didn't have any flashlights. I didn't have a phone on me. I had realized that Bigfoot didn't like to be recorded, so I felt like when I had a phone with me, it would put a damper on my encounters. I also felt that way with the flashlights, so that's how I went out there at night. So I was sitting on the trail to the left, facing that back of the house with a deck and porch on it. And all of a sudden, my husband comes out on the deck, and he says, "Honey, are you out there?" And when he does that, he turns on the porch light. And when the porch light came on, all of a sudden, a Bigfoot walked out right in front of the porch light and me. It was probably about 6 feet in front of me. Now, my husband couldn't see it because he was way up on the deck. Our deck is above ground, maybe 13 feet off the ground, and he was just standing in the doorway. But because of the light coming from the house, and the Bigfoot walked right in between the light and me, I could see the Bigfoot. And it walked right across the trail in front of me. I could see its entire body. Now, the strange thing was, I could see the whole outline of the body, but it kind of looked like a walking shadow, but walking upright, like shadows on the ground. And it had really long fingers, and I could see its feet, and it kind of almost looked like a walking tree because they're really skinny. It looked like a walking tree with arms and long fingers, like branches, and the legs and all. And, they don't have much of a neckline, so it was kind of straight because I had a side view. So it walked right in front of me on the path I was sitting down on. And all I could say to my husband when he said, "Honey, are you out there?" was, "Yes, honey." I didn't say much more because I didn't want to mess up what was going on. The Bigfoot walked out in front of me, and it was see-through. I could see my husband and the house through the Bigfoot. My husband couldn't see it because he was inside the doorway of our deck that's about 13 feet up off the ground. But I could see it because the Bigfoot walked right in between the light and me, and it was about 6 feet in front of me. It walked right across the trail that I was standing on, and there wasn't any trees or anything blocking my view for a bit, so I could see the entire Bigfoot. So then it walked across the trail, and it went over to 2 parallel pine trees we have in the yard. They're real tall, and they stand next to each other, and they're parallel. And next thing you know, its see-through body started merging in between the 2 parallel trees. Now, I had never heard they could do this before, so this was absolutely blowing my mind. So I turned my head and kind of shaked my head, because I thought, okay, I must be seeing things. So I shaked my head and I hurried and looked back because I didn't want to miss anything. And the Bigfoot had merged into the energy between the 2 trees even more. And there was maybe only an inch or inch and a half of the Bigfoot's body still sticking out where I could see. The rest had merged into the energy between the 2 trees. And then pretty quickly, that inch or inch and a half of its body that was see-through that I could still see merged into the rest of the energy, and it was just poof, completely gone. And so I guess it moved into another dimension, kind of like how spirits and ghosts are in another dimension that we can't see. I don't know if it's the same dimension that the Bigfoot moved into, but they moved into another dimension right there in front of my eyes. So I got mind speak that night, talking to the Bigfoot. And then my husband comes out and turns on a light, and a Bigfoot walks out in front of me, cloaked and see-through. And then it showed me how it could merge into energy in the air and just disappear. And I have a feeling it can do that in other places besides just 2 parallel trees. I was thinking about it, and the energy between 2 parallel trees is kind of trapped between those 2 trees. So maybe that creates kind of like a vortex for them to be able to enter. I don't know. But I felt no fear during this entire encounter. I wondered if I was seeing things. It shook my head, but I never felt any fear. And then I went running upstairs and said, I just saw a cloaked Bigfoot go through a portal.
That has to be one of the most fascinating encounters I have ever heard. To actually see a Bigfoot in active cloak mode, totally see-through, and then to watch it enter an invisible portal and disappear. Makes me wish every skeptic on the planet could witness that kind of thing. Boy, they'd become believers in a heartbeat.
I've been in this business since I was a teenager, and even I've never seen that before.
So a cloaked, invisible Bigfoot in the dark with just the right amount of backlighting at just the right angle is actually visible to the human eye.
And that's not the kind of thing you can recreate in some laboratory. That's the kind of thing people learn totally by accident. Right place, right time kind of stuff.
Exactly, Jerry. If I hadn't turned that deck light on at that exact second, and if she hadn't been sitting in just the right spot, we'd still be in the dark about all this. It was just one of those happenstance flukes that was timed just right, and because of it, we learned something in about 2 seconds that we would have spent years trying to figure out otherwise.
And that encounter doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of some of the things I've seen.
Well, if you two have the time and you're willing to stay a while, I'd love to hear more of your encounters. Hearing stories like that is like ear candy to a Bigfoot researcher.
I second that.
I could sit and listen to that kind of thing all day. Give me some popcorn and a chocolate shake and I'm all ears.
Yeah, 1 box of ding-dongs and I'll be good to go for hours.
Well, Ross, what do you think? Do you want to stay a few extra days and share some of our experiences?
With a captive audience who can't get enough, I'd be a fool to turn down that kind of offer. You bet we're staying.
Well, that's that then. I'll set you up with a room at the Brooksdale Motel, all expenses paid, with a couple of home-cooked dinners thrown in at my place, and you'll be all set. As long as there's no earthquakes, cave-ins, or any other unexpected disasters along the way, you can tell stories until the cows come home.
I think this might be more fun than I can stand. I think my funometer is already headed for the red zone.
Your what?
My funometer. You have one too, you know. Everybody does. It's just that some people are afraid to admit it.
I am not.
R2.
Am not.
R2.
Am not.
R2.
Am not.
R2.
R2.
Am not. Wait, what?
Gotcha.
You weirdo.
Takes one to know one.
All right, children, that's enough. Ross, Charlene, you'll have to excuse my 2 kids. They're not usually like this in front of company.
That's totally all right, Professor. We had 2 of our own, so we know how it is.
Now see what you did? You went and got us both in trouble.
I did not.
Did too.
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 Did not.
If you 2 don't knock it off, I'm gonna spank the both of you. Ross, Charlene, your reservations at the Brooksdale Motel are all set. It's about a half a mile from here. From the lab, just head south for about a quarter mile and then turn right on 4th Street. You'll be able to see their sign from there.
Thank you, Professor. You're too kind for setting all this up on such short notice.
It's no trouble at all. Oh, and here's an envelope with several coupons for free meals at the Bigfoot Diner.
Oh, Professor, you shouldn't have.
Well, when I said all expenses paid, I meant it.
Well, thank you so much.
So what time do you open up in the morning?
The lab doors open at 8 a.m. Jerry usually shows up by about 8:30, and Emma's schedule is sort of open. But I can call her and make sure she's here for your next encounter story. As excited as she is to hear all of them, she'd be worse than an angry bear if I let her miss out on any of it.
Well, we can't have that now, can we? Professor, it's a pleasure to have met you and your team. We couldn't have picked a better place to stop and spend some time.
And I can't wait to share more of our encounters with you. Being able to tell them to someone face to face is so much better than writing them in a magazine article.
I know exactly how you feel, Charlene. Seeing people's reaction is a whole lot more fun. Well, it's time to shut down for the night and call it a day. I'll see you both back here in the morning. Even though we open at 8 o'clock, you don't necessarily have to be here by then. You can wander in at your leisure whenever you feel like it.
Oh, we're both early risers, so we'll be here at 8 o'clock, ready to go.
Well, okay then. I'll see you both tomorrow. Come in. Oh, hello there, Squatch. You say you want to talk to Darrell? Sure, I can take you to him. He has his own office right across the hall. Oh, it's no bother at all. I'd be glad to do it.
Come in.
Darrell, you have a visitor.
Oh, well, hello there.
I'll leave you 2 alone now. I'm sure you have a lot to talk about.
Thank you, Professor. Have a seat. So what brings you by?
My people have sent me to provide you with restoration.
Restoration?
Yes, it is well known among my people that you have been very kind to us. So in return, we would like to be kind to you by returning something that was stolen from you.
Stolen?
When you awake, you will know. I must go now. Squatch Enterprise, transporter room, beam me aboard.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Goodbye, my dear brother. My people are always watching, always watching, always watching, always watching, always watching.
Hey. What the? I can move my... Oh my god! Good morning, Professor.
We got a 17-inch print, about an inch and a half deep. That brings him about 400 inches there. Not much there. Not sure about this. See here. 2 and 5 and mid-tarsal break, is it over there? Okay, right, I'm looking there. Let's see. I'll be with you in a second, Darrell. Let's see, we're not really too much on that side. 34 inches between them, and let's see. Darrell, will you stop all that tap dancing? I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm... Wait, Darrell! Oh my God, you're on your feet!
I was wondering how long it would take you to notice.
How in the name of sweet Fanny Adams did all this happen?
Well, if you were anybody else, I'd say you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But since you're you, I have a feeling you're going to believe every word.
Well, come on over and have a seat and tell me all about it. Holy moly, this is amazing!
Professor, it all happened last night while I was sleeping.
Yeah?
I had a dream that you and a Sasquatch both came to my office. You said I had a visitor, and then you left the room.
Okay.
Then the Sasquatch sat down in front of me and told me that since I'd been kind to them, they wanted to be kind to me and restore something to me that had been stolen. At first, I wasn't sure what it was he was referring to, but he said I would know when I woke up. A few seconds later, after he disappeared, I did wake up. And when I did, I went to roll over just a little, and my legs started to bend and then stretch out. It took a second or two for me to realize what was going on. Up to now, I've only had a little bit of movement, but not enough to amount to much. The doctors say I would regain my ability to walk in 6 to 8 weeks, a little at a time. But when I woke up from that dream, there was no doubt both my legs were working perfectly, just like they used to. And all from a dream.
Darrell, that is amazing. I am so happy for you. You know, that is one thing I've never been too sure of. I mean, the Sasquatch can do a lot of things to manipulate stuff, but I was never too sure about their ability to heal or restore something in someone's body. But you are living, and may I add, walking proof that they definitely can.
I never even knew it was possible. I mean, I was sure that if I was ever going to walk again, it was going to be through my own efforts, my own willpower, and my own ability to push myself and create the healing. But after what happened last night, I am totally convinced that the Sasquatch possess a power far greater than any of us ever dreamed or imagined. You know how magicians make things appear or disappear, and how they can change things just by thinking it?
Yeah?
Well, in the same way that magicians have tapped into that reserve power in their minds that most of us don't even use, I believe that the Sasquatch have tapped into an even deeper part of the mind, and they can actually heal and restore things.
Darrell, I truly believe that with all my heart. I mean, if a magician can make things appear or disappear or change a playing card from an ace of spades to a queen of hearts simply by thinking about it, then the Sasquatch, who, by the way, I believe to be far above us in the evolutionary process, are most definitely capable of doing things far greater than simple card tricks.
Well, after what I just experienced last night, I have no doubt about it whatsoever. All those tabloids with stories about people getting healed, or all them faith healers and what they do, all that might be true or just a bunch of hooey, I don't know. But there ain't no denying that I was healed by none other than Sasquatch himself, and nobody can convince me otherwise.
I can't believe it's actually come to this. Over 30 years of living here, and now I'm leaving. I never dreamed I'd ever have to go. I mean, yeah, I could stay, but I'm just too Squatch dependent to stay here without them. Like I told Jerry, they're family, and I have to be where they are. And that's just the way it is. So, this is it. So long, old house. You've served me well all these years. Boy, if this old place could talk. The stories it could tell.
Mom, it sounds like the grass man is back again.
Would you like to feed him this time?
Sure.
There's some peanut butter in a container on the kitchen counter.
Cool. I wonder if I could actually hand it to him this time.
Well, you can try, but be careful.
I will. Hello there. Remember me? Come on over here. I have something for you. I'm just gonna stand right here with my hand out. Now go real slow. Yeah, that's it. Real easy. Closer, closer, closer. You're almost there. That's the way. Now, reach out. It's all right. I won't do anything to scare you. A little closer. Now, take it from my hand. Yeah, that's the way. Go ahead. Here you go. There. You see? That wasn't so bad, now was it? I hope you enjoy it. I'll be out here next week to give you more. I think it's really... Oh my god. He's touching my face. He's so gentle. And those eyes. They're so peaceful. Oh, this is just amazing.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'll see you next time. Mom! Mom! He touched my face!
That's definitely a moment I'll never forget. I wonder where he is today. Well, time to go.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, sweetheart. What do you know?
Well, I know it's about time I headed out to the Cooper cabin and see what I could find out there. I was about to go there before heading up north, but then... The road! What is happening? Oh, God. Oh.
Emma!
It's okay. I've got you. I got you. It's all right.
What in tarnation is going on? Here, put her over on the couch. Is she sick?
No, she's been having flashbacks and nightmares about the earthquake. I think she's been traumatized by the whole thing. She said the opening in the ground came to a stop just 6 feet in front of her. It scared the living daylights out of her. Plus, she saw the people in the car in front of her disappear into the giant sinkhole in the freeway. So she basically watched them die.
That's enough to traumatize anybody. Oh, boy.
Dad? Jerry? What happened?
You passed out. It's okay. You were only out for a few seconds there. You're still in my office.
You gave us both quite a scare there.
Boy, I'll say.
How you feeling?
I feel like I've been drugged.
Well, don't look at me. I only deal in chocolate and cream filling.
Yeah, that's pretty hard stuff. Do you roll that up and smoke it, or do you just snort it?
What? You know, Dad, from the sound of her, I think she's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think you're right. But just lay there and rest for a while. And I'm not so sure it's such a good idea for you to be driving.
I would have to agree.
But what about Cooper Cabin? I've really been wanting to go there.
I know. But with what just happened to you, it would be far too dangerous to be driving. Especially up in that neck of the woods.
Hey, wait a minute. What if we both go, and I do the driving?
Well, Dad, what do you think?
Well, I suppose that'd be all right.
Good. Thanks, Dad.
But first, you need some rest. How about we leave in a couple hours?
Sounds good to me.
Good. Here, have a donut. It'll perk you up a little.
A donut? That's a second-rate drug, man. What happened to the ding-dongs?
Sorry, I'm all out of the hard stuff. So, are we almost there?
Well, not too far to go now. According to my map, the cabin should be just ahead. Probably right around this next corner. Yep, there it is, just like the map says.
Well, I'll be. It's still standing after all these years.
Old Jed sure did like his privacy. This place is really in the middle of Nowheresville.
You can say that again.
The whole place is covered in weeds taller than me. Looks like one window is broken. But the walls look good, though. A few gaps in the logs and a lot of weather damage, but for the most part, not too bad. Looks like some wooden posts and fencing off to one side. I remember reading that his Bigfoot sighting happened in his garden. That's probably where it was.
Yeah, most likely.
Pretty much overgrown with weeds as well. So, this is the old Cooper place. Hard to believe it's been standing here untouched for at least 150 years. And it shows.
Yeah, it sure does.
The front door must be on the other side of the cabin. Let's take a look around the front. The brush and weeds are like really... Wait. What the... Oh my gosh. There are weeds taller than me all around the cabin. But in the front, they're all flattened down.
Ah, mysterious. Very mysterious indeed.
Well, let's see what's inside.
What in the world?
Oh my god.
They're even smarter than we thought. All that's missing here is a couch and a TV.
Bigfoot Research Lab, Jonathan Daltin speaking.
Dad, you won't believe what I found at the old Cooper cabin.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, the whole place is surrounded by weeds, except in front where they've all been matted down. And when I opened the door, the entire ground was totally covered. Several inches in grass and leaves and all kind of brush. Dad, the Cooper cabin is now the Sasquatch Motel.